Was good. I'm actually recording this after the podcast, like the next day. But I first want to give a special thanks to Civil for coming on the podcast. Give us the opportunity to interview him, things of that nature. You guys go subscribe to his channel if you for some reason have not already. We talked a little bit about Madden, the season 2 update, his journey into YouTube, and as well as a little bit of TGL stuff with Thorough. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment some guys you guys want to see on the podcast. Hopefully we can get them on. But love you guys, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's episode 7 of the Virtual Turf Talk podcast, and we have a very special guest here with us today.
Yeah, man. We got our boy. We got our boy, the man, the myth, the legend.
Civil.
Yeah. Let him join real quick. He's getting in here.
What's going on, man? Working for me?
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, heck yeah. What's going on, Darien, Oliver? What's going on, boys?
Go on, man. Nice to meet you, man.
Good to meet y'all. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you for giving
appreciate you
this opportunity. Thank you, actually.
No, absolutely, dude.
Yeah, man. Not a lot of people will give, a little channel like us an opportunity to interview them, especially like somebody with as many subscribers as you do.
Oh, bro, I just think the stuff's fun. I don't really care about size of whatever. You guys are doing something cool, especially you guys do a bunch of Madden stuff. So I'm whenever that kind of stuff happens, to be able to support just Madden stuff in general, I think it's sick. So yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we mostly do this for fun. This is kind of our our fun pastime thing. We got the idea from our friend TD Brett. This was originally his idea, and we started the podcast because of him. So
TD TD Barrett.
Yeah.
Yes, TD Barrett.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know you guys knew TD.
Yeah, we're actually both in these leagues.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Hell yeah. Tell me. Real quick, tell me. So sometimes my mic will cut out if I bump it. I gotta get a new mic. So if it bumps out, if it cuts out at some point, just tell me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll let you know. For sure.
Definitely monitor. All right. So the first question I had to ask you, what made you get into YouTube? What made you start doing Madden?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I got into Madden I played. So the way I always tell people, I played Madden probably like any other kid did growing up, just casually. It's it was in the cycle of games. Madden, GTA, 2K, Halo, COD, all that stuff, just kind of playing it casually. Played high school football, and during that, I got more into Madden, I guess. And then after my senior year of high school football is over, I was like, dang, well, I'm not going to go play college. Guy sucks. So I'm going to play Madden, I guess. And I started playing these random CFMs that were free to join CFMs, no real prizes, but I would do really good in them. And I remember there was this one CFM where I went undefeated, won the Super Bowl, and then the next year I went undefeated, got to the Super Bowl and lost. So I won 35 straight games to the CFM or something like that. I'm that means I'm probably pretty decent, I guess. And someone asked me in a Facebook group of one of those CFMs, hey, you want to play a $10 money game for whatever reason? I'm like, sure. I play them for $10. I win. And they're like, do you want to play again? I'm like, sure. And so I win the next game. And then within an hour, I've made $20. And I'm 16 years old at the time. I'm this is pretty sick. So that kind of goes on. I go to college, whatever. And when I turned 19, I'm still kind of playing Madden, kind of casually on the side with some other things. And there's a big MCS tournament, which is the Madden Championship Series, which is where the pros and stuff play. I would compete in them, but I'd never go very far. And I end up winning a club championship, which was to represent a NFL team, which is where that jersey right there comes from. So I represented the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to win that tournament, I was on an EA stream that had I want to say maybe 50,000 people watching or something like that. And the reason that was important is because that was a really big exposure event for me. And so right then I'm I'm gonna try streaming immediately after this and just see. And so I start streaming, and because I just want to a Madden thing, people start watching me because of that. Couple months goes by, and if you ever look into basic oh, I want to be a Twitch streamer, or oh, I want to be a content creator, they always tell you I feel a lot of times the advice is YouTube is kind of the way to go long term. Twitch is cool, but even if you want to grow on Twitch, YouTube's a great platform to grow on Twitch. And so I'm okay, I gotta get into this YouTube thing. I just make a channel, and I kind of just start making videos and stuff like that. There's a lot more too. I got a bunch of help along the way too, but that's it, a super condensed version.
Yeah. So kind of we are right now, we're also a very small channel. How you were at the beginning. So how was it kind of starting out? You said that you had a like a support group, kind of like a
group
of friends?
So I realized super early on when I was like starting to play like money games in Madden, I was like, okay, I'm better than the average person. What's another? So this is before the club championship. I'm probably 18 years old, 17 years old. And I reach out to a guy named Ace Madden. We had like talked a couple of times. I played in a couple of his tournaments, and he runs like a Madden tip website and he runs a YouTube channel. And we were just talking. And I'm like, dude, like, what if, because I think he's complaining about something. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of work trying to do all this. I'm like, dude, what if you let me make some videos for you? So this is before I was even really that good at Madden, but I was like, this was before I was established as like a pro comp player. I was just winning a few $10 games. And so, I started making a few tip videos for him throughout the years, and they're still up. If you look at like Madden 19 Ace Madden videos, and so he kind of helped. So I'd already been on camera a little bit, and he had kind of helped me transition into, doing my own stuff. And then I'd met, I'm trying to think, at a couple of different Madden events, I had met like Chaos, if you guys know who Chaos is.
Yeah.
And then I had met Throne as well. And so I had like talked to them a little bit about like starting YouTube and whatnot. And they helped. I mean, they gave me a bunch of advice and a bunch of like, yep, like this is going to be really hard at first. Like when you first start out, your videos are going to suck. You're going to feel weird, all this stuff. You know what I mean? Just like kind of beginner steps. Yeah. And it's like, it's a super grind, but I mean, the end is worth it, which I mean, everyone's still working towards, but like, it's going to suck for years. Like and I really do. I believe it. Like, I mean, like content creation, YouTube in general, like you really won't, unless you're super lucky or just naturally like beyond gifted, you won't make any kind of money at it for a few years, really, any kind of substantial money for the most part. But yeah, it was just kind of that going along, and just kind of chugging away at it.
Yeah, so you started YouTube, right? And you've been doing YouTube for a little minute now, and you have, a pretty successful channel as well. What would you say is the worst part about being a YouTuber of anything that you've experienced so far?
So me personally, like the actual things, I hate the monotony of editing. I hate editing. Just something I like some parts of it, but like a lot of it is like just not something that's super up my alley. The next thing I would say, the hardest thing is like there's like a certain level of like instant feedback that is really cool about YouTube. And like you have all of your data in front of you where you can see this is performing really well. This is not performing really well. And so it's like, so you hit like, let's say, you're in a rut and you hit 10 videos in a row where this isn't performing well. Next week, this isn't performing well. Next week, just on and on. It's like, holy shit. Like, I wish it's almost like at like a job sometimes, if you're performing bad, like you're not getting told every single day you suck. With YouTube, if you're doing bad, they will tell you every day, you suck. And it's like, Jesus, dude, like, I know I suck. Like, relax. And so I would say that's a harder part. I've gotten way better about that in the past, really, especially like 2023. I'd say way better mentally, but it can definitely be like a mental game. You'll hear big or like long-term creators who've been doing it 5+ years. I feel like everybody always says that. It's like it's a long game, and it's a huge mental game.
Right. Okay. We went into our group chat that we have with all the guys, and I asked them if they had any questions they wanted to ask you. I only got one.
What's up?
Which was from TD himself. He wanted to know specifically what's up with the Civil and Civil Premium channels. Why do you have two?
Oh, that one's easy. So I wanted the ability to so I believe I have the ability to make very high effort videos in Madden that can either be like one-off challenge videos that a lot of time goes into them, or just kind of stuff along that time where these videos take a long time. Especially like a year ago, I used to make a lot of these style videos. But I had this issue where I would consistently go like every day. I'm playing so many games of Madden every single day just to remain good at Madden. And I'm like, I don't want to put these really high quality videos next to me playing Joe Bob 203 and winning 30-0, or me trying out a new card. I don't want to keep these on necessarily this exact same channel. I'm like, it's just a huge contrast. In this video, I spent 10 hours editing or 20 hours editing. This video took me 10 minutes. I'm like, there's a huge contrast of these two types of videos. So I'm like, let me just make a new channel and let's just see if we can upload every day. Kind of this more like raw kind of gameplay, whether it be from a stream, whether it be like a card gameplay, something like that. And then keep my main channels transition to more of these higher effort, way more polished type videos where I'm putting a lot more like thought and a lot more like intent behind everything. Whereas again, like Civil Premium's kind of like I was just recording that earlier today for like a Justin Fields, I think came out today for the Comp Pass thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like very raw, very one-off. And it's just like whatever. Also, I look at it as like a way to every single day. It's an advertising platform for my business, which is a big deal.
Yep. You talk about your we talk about the 2 channels and your business. You have a website called civil.gg. Basically, for people that have never seen your content or have never like been to the website, what comes with it? What would you say? Like, how would you describe your website?
So super simple is like to pretend someone's never even played Madden before. The way I describe it in person is like imagine you're trying to learn like new recipes when you're cooking, and imagine if there was a professional chef who you could go online and get online cookbooks that have videos of how you do everything, have like pictures of the ingredients and pictures of the steps. It's kind of like that, just for a video game. So it's teaching everything you're doing. And then on a monthly basis, you are getting new recipes every single month. From a professional chef in that analogy. Literally, that's as simple. But yeah, so I teach the game through Civil GG using pretty much what I like about what I do is that like because I play at a pretty comp level, everything I do is like it works at the highest level, which I think is really nice. So, and then I try pretty hard like to simplify things as well. So it's like I really focus on finding the balance between doing things at a super high level, but also someone who's been playing Madden for a month could jump in and they'd also be able to use pretty much the same things. There's like a hard balance there because as you get more advanced in the gameplay side of things, it gets harder just to teach to somebody who's not as experienced. No different than probably something like cooking, where if you're not super experienced at cooking, it's hard to do advanced recipes. So I try to find that balance, and we've had a good amount of success. I've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Do you want me to go? Oh, Jesus Christ. I got it. So I have been watching you and Throne for like a very, very long time. I think it was maybe Madden 19-ish. I think it was. But specifically, I think everybody knows that you and Thrones share like a lot of similarities in your content, like the single card review gameplays, like a lot of your what's the word, like your language you use in your videos, I would say is very similar to Thrones. Do you want to just maybe speak on your relationship with him? And
yeah, so I mean, me and Throne, especially, we would talk every day for hours every day. So that's why a lot of like the language similarities would just happen. I mean, for months on end, we would talk every single day for hours every single day. I unfortunately get the bad side of that because Throne's essentially like a mega celebrity. So like if I say something that's similar to him, I get called a copycat just because of that. But no, I mean, we would sit in group chats or we'd sit in calls one-on-one. And I mean, we just talk every day about either Madden, YouTube, whatever. So that's why we share a lot of that kind of similarity in terms of our language. In terms of content, I mean, it makes sense. We're both kind of more, like competitive guys. Obviously, he doesn't really play professionally, but if Taylor wanted to, he could easily play comp and be pretty good at the game. And then, so like, we just both kind of share like the similar, like the easiest way for me to, especially on a daily basis, right? Civil Premiums every day. So the easiest way for me to record a video every day or to get some videos out some days is new card. Like it's just the easiest thing possible, to be quite frank with you. And then like best offense type stuff. Like there's a lot of crossover in the style of content we are, because we're very similar creators, both kind of more energetic. He's way more energetic than I am, but more, energetic, a little bit of entertainment in there, along with just being, good at the game, or better than most other Madden YouTubers. So it's just like natural similarities there.
Okay. Yeah, because we know like you and Throne you guys are all part of a little friend group of creators that we see you guys post on your Instagram. You guys are always going out together, going to events together and stuff like that. Like as far as like competing, like when you're competing against them, like in gameplay videos or like even like on a competitive level, like how is it competing with your friends and content creators that you're a part of you groups with?
Yeah, so it can be tough. Honestly, it can be tough. Honestly, it's a weird kind of thing, and because like you want your friends to do well. I mean, we've had it happen so many times now where we've had to play against friends. I've always kind of worded it like, damn, it sucks to lose, but like if you're gonna lose to somebody, I'd like to see my friend continue going. You know what I mean? So That's kind of how it is. Like it's really good because if you win, awesome. Like you just won a tournament game, sick. And if you lose, it's like, well, I lost, but my friend's moving on. So like, what, you know, I mean, it's kind of like you can look at it two different ways of being really upset that you play your friend, or I try to be like, well, at least if I lose, my friend's going to move on. So at least there's a silver lining rather than someone you don't like, or not even that you don't like, but if someone you don't know, oh, you lose to them. It's like, who cares? Now it's like, oh, my friend's moving on. Cool. Like, at least I can be happy for them.
Yeah, at least you can root for them for sure.
Just going back to, you know, we talked earlier about how you represented the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Madden tournament. Do you have any specific plans to maybe start competing again this year? And if not, do you know why this year?
So, dude, my thing with competing is so like this year I've actually taken a way bigger step towards competing. So the first tournament I finished, I did compete. I've competed in both tournaments so far this year. The first tournament I finished top 32. I lost to W, who was just a buzzsaw at that point in the tournament. And then this past tournament, I got bounced super. I got bounced in the second round. So, I mean, I am competing right now. And the format this year allows me to compete a little bit better. It's hard because, like, quite frankly, for me, like, the whole like everything Madden related is my full-time job. So I can't be focused on chasing the glory of finishing final 8 in a tournament, of finishing final 4, of trying to win a belt. I have to focus on the task at hand, which is making money, making a living. And the fact of the matter is, like, there's just significantly more money in content creation across the board. And so there's a really tough balance. It's why you see a lot of pro players not create content. There's a really tough balance of like creating content consistently and being really good at the game. Some people do a great job of it. Someone who is a great example is Dubby, and then KMAC as well. I mean, they produce content pretty much every day, whether it's streams or YouTube videos. And then they're, you know, top 50, 30, whatever Madden players in the world. But I mean, it's tough. Before previous years, we'd have this MCS format where I can think of Madden 21 specifically, where clubs started in October and then clubs ended in December. For me personally, in Madden 21, I lost in the final 4 of Bucks Club in October. And then that tournament literally lasted until January or so. Yeah, late January. So I didn't play another MCS tournament for 3 months. And it's like, I can't spend my time labbing during this time. Like, I can't spend my time preparing for the next tournament or whatever. I have to worry about how I'm going to make money, which is through content. You get so wrapped up into content, it's hard to be good at the game. And then Madden 21, I didn't even compete for the rest after clubs, basically. Whereas this year, it's every single month. So it's a little bit, it makes more sense for me to be able to compete. Like, it's not as hard to stay good at the game when there's just a week in between tournaments, or 2 weeks, whatever it is, because there's 2 weekends a month of qualifiers, and then 1 weekend a month of the actual tournament. So 3 weekends a month is me playing competitive Madden. So you have like a 2 week break, give or take, which it's pretty easy to stay good at the game. But when that's a month and a half, 2 months, the game changes so much, and it makes such little sense for me personally to stay on top of the game all the way through. So you're just playing catch up the entire time, it feels like.
Yeah, you talk about the game changing, and we all know an update just came out about a week or 2 ago, season 2 update, and where the Madden nerfed a lot of things. You know, they nerfed, of course, you know, the loop as much as they could. They've done a lot of, they made a lot of changes. Let's just say they made a lot of changes, you know, in the update, added abilities and things like that. What are your thoughts on Madden before and after the update? Do you think it was better? Do you think it got worse?
I think the game, for me personally, was probably better before the update. But I could say, what I'll say is this, though. It's hard because for me, I was thinking of it as a double-edged sword, because, like, while I love comp, I also love content. So comp caters to the super diehard who spends 12 hours a day on the game, grinding gameplay, learning all the, you know, exploit glitches, the best stuff. And then content is more of, you know, people who watch me aren't those people as much. They're people who might play an hour a day, every few days, whatever. And so I think this patch was really good for content stuff because it changed the game so much. We are playing a fairly, in terms of how different the game could be, obviously football is football, but the game changed a ton. So like now people who watched me this week are witnessing an entirely different experience than when they watched me 2 weeks ago, which I think is great for rewatchability and replayability. On the comp end, though, so like I'm happy about it for that reason. I'm like, yes, the meta is changing. This is really good. on the comp end of things, though, I think the game did take a step back, which is frustrating. There's some like pretty large bugs with like catching the ball, and I've always been, if you watch a lot, my kind of take on, people always ask me like, is Madden good? What do you want to see in Madden? Whatever. And my thing always is like, I just want the game to be different, and so the game is certainly different after the patch, which is good. Yeah. And I don't even care if that benefits me or doesn't benefit me. Overall, I just want it to be different. I think it benefits the more casual viewer. And then 2, I want the game to just be functional, from a bug standpoint and from like a fundamentals of like, I guess, football standpoint. And right now there's like a pretty large bug with like just trying to catch the football on offense and defense, which like you just drop a lot of things that I don't think you should drop. And I'm like, that's pretty frustrating. Like that's a functionality issue. But I still think it's better than a lot of games we played in the past that just had way bigger bugs that were like, this is game breaking. I mean, this time last year we had the flashing Dickerson, which I don't know if you guys remember that, but like in MUT, the screen would flash. It's like, so I mean, it's better than like, that was like, I don't care how good or bad the game is. That's not functional. I can't play it. It doesn't matter. So like, we don't have that. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, like kind of like for me, like, you know, I've kind of been a little bit harder on Madden since they kind of moved to next gen, because they talked a lot about like, you know, making the game realistic towards real football. But it feels like they kind of like, so for the first couple of years, of course, Madden 1, Madden 22, Madden 21, Madden 22, the game was bad. The game was in a terrible state. You couldn't get stops on defense. There was multiple bomb glitches that you couldn't play defense against. Madden 23, we took a little bit of a step forward, but then again, offensive line couldn't hold up. They couldn't block at all. This year, like the game for me, at the first part of this year, was probably some of the most fun I've had playing the game in a while. Like I actually could sit down in a good sitting and like play the game consistently, and kind of not like, of course, like you rage because, you know, things happen, but like I could actually enjoy playing the game a little bit. Like now, after the update, it feels like we're kind of going back to the Madden 22 type state where, like, you know, defense, of course, I mean, defense, they said defense was really good, but like, you know, if you're going against a really good player, like, especially now that you can't blitz them, like it makes the game really, really, really tough to play. And like, it's not like, you know, pass rush is crazy like how it was in Madden 23 in the beginning. So I don't know, the game's just in a weird state for me for sure. But like, I don't know, like with them trying to say that they're trying to make the game as realistic as possible, these updates, like, they're just like, I understand you want to cater to the casual player, but like, you don't want to just straight up destroy the game for them.
That's where it's so hard, because like the blitzing things are super good. Like, is like one of the best examples of this. So one of the biggest like pain points for Madden every year is O-line logic sucks. O-line logic sucks. Everybody, comp players say it. More casual players say it. They actually, in terms of pass blocking, they nailed. They did. Like, it's the best it's been. And it's really funny because now people, it's just how it is. Now people are like, well, you can't blitz. This sucks. And it's like, and that's kind of where, again, like EA does a lot of stuff wrong. But it also, from EA's point of view, I'm like, this is the best pass pro has ever been, probably. Or in terms of like picking up blitzers, no looping right now. Yeah. Slot corners aren't crazy good. And now, even still, like even myself are like, dang, we can't blitz right now. This sucks. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, when my left tackle just stares at a dude running right by, I'm like, this sucks too. I'm like, well, I'm like, okay, I can see how EA is in kind of a tough spot right here. I'm like it's such a hard balance to get it right, I think. And I don't know if they ever, ever will. I don't know if they ever will. Or if it's realistic to think they will. It's tough.
Like, if we're talking about realism, right? Realistically, teams are going to blitz, especially if the O-line can't pick it up. And that's how it is in IRL football. And like, you know what I'm saying? Quarterbacks don't complain, oh, well, they're blitzing me every play. My O-line can't pick it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing you really can do towards that. The better players are going to pick it up. And especially like you said, like earlier on this year, pass protection was actually pretty good. You could pick up blitzers. Like people like, there was times like I would play people and like how like last year how 4 out of $1 was screen. Now the tackle actually goes out there and picks up the outside corner that's coming in, or if you can motion the running back over. So like for me, like I didn't think they needed to mess with the blitzing that much. Looping wasn't that bad. Like looping wasn't OP. Like last year looping was bad. Last year looping was terrible. This year it wasn't that bad, so I don't think they had to do much towards that. But I understand, again, like you want the casual player to play, so you're gonna cater to them. But like the guys that are making you the money, if they're not enjoying the game, like the guys on the competitive scene, if they're not enjoying the game, like those are the guys you're putting up front and in the center. And then like, what are you supposed to do when they're not enjoying playing it?
I think I actually, so the easy solution with the blitzing thing, and I say it's easy, but like the stuff to actually make this happen is probably insanely hard. Is so like a lot of like, if you ever like look at like different like blitz protections to like pick up like a lot of these high level blitzes, a lot of them like don't make a ton of sense. Like one of the best things before this patch, there was a loop blitz out of nickel 3-3, and the way you would pick it up is you would ID the mic on like the outside corner opposite of the halfback. Even though he was in man coverage or something, like you'd ID him as the mic. And it's like, this actually, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no sense in it. It's just kind of random that's how it works. If they could make if they could keep blitzing the same as it was before the patch and make the ID the mic system work correctly, where, hey, if I ID this guy, he is going to get picked up no matter what. And like, if they could do that, because then you could ID, you as a Madden player, you could identify, okay, who's the guy who's sacking me? It's this guy. I'm going to ID him. Then it's like casuals can be smart enough to do that. You don't need to know life the game and find out that you have to ID the random outside corner. And at a pro level, there's still blitzes that work. They just have to counter it, that's how I believe it genuinely should work. Right now, it's like two extremes where I'm like, I don't love it.
Yeah, because kind of like it feels like right now, like a lot of times, like a lot of players, especially casual players, like they tend to snap the ball stock. Like they don't spend the time and make the protection and do the ID and stuff. Like, so like that's why I didn't understand why they mess with it, because if you're being honest, like if you ID'd it and knew how protection works, you could block the blitzes.
Right.
You can make reads. It's just like those guys those casual players, they want it to be where I can come out and snap the play stock and my team is going to automatically pick up the guys. Yeah, and that's not how it should be. So with them messing with blitzing, do you think that lowers the skill gap?
I think right after a patch, yes. Just because like when you play, I mean, it's essentially a brand new game right after the patch. And whenever a game's brand new, it's just there's no knowledge gap and the game kind of plays different. But once we get more into it, even right now, like I think the skill gap's back for the most part. Because like there are some blitzes that work. They're just not as good. But there's better coverages that you can run. So no blitzing probably. There is skill to beating blitzes and there is skill to passing while under pressure. So I'd say like, yeah, it definitely does. Like when there's no blitzing, it definitely does lower the skill gap. But I still think, I don't think it's to the point where so many people want to say, like they want to be like, say the hard line of like, there's no skill gap at all. That's not like, that's just incorrect. But does it lower the skill gap, especially right after a patch? Yeah.
Right. As somebody who plays the game, like, do you play the game when you're not recording? Just asking.
In comp season, yes. During comp, so like right now, because comp season this year ends in December or January. Yes, I'll play a lot of like scrimmage games or like rep games just to kind of play against other good players, learn the game, stuff like that. Once comp season's over, I really only play when I'm recording or streaming or something. For the most part, that's what I do.
So, do you think your job as a content creator affects your ability to like enjoy playing the game? Do you think you like hate Madden more because you play competitively or for content?
I don't. I wouldn't say I hate Madden as much as like other creators would say, because some people be like, I hate, like, and they'll like mean it. I'm like, I'll bitch about the game and whatnot, but like I wouldn't say I hate the game by any means. I would say, like, I never boot up the game and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this for fun. I definitely do. When I was younger, I would like try out different schemes or like stuff like that and like play more casually or whatever. Very rarely will I say like, I don't even boot up video games anymore and be like, okay, I'm gonna play something for fun. This year I played like 10 games of MLB The Show, kind of messing around, and that was fun. But like even then, I'm like, I should just get back on Madden, because like pretty much whenever I'm on Madden, I'm working to some extent, whether it's getting better at the game, learning a new scheme, building my MUT team, which like I'm not a big MUT guy. I'm not a big team builder or anything. So like building my MUT team and spending an hour doing that for me genuinely is like, this sucks. Like this actually is kind of work. So for the most part, like most of the time on Madden, I genuinely think of as work in some way, which by the way, like it's the best work like you could ask for in terms of like I get to play a video game, but it also is still work where I'm like, I need to be productive in some sense.
Yeah. Okay. For sure.
Just going back to the competitive thing once again, how do you feel about how's the competition right now? Do you think this is a good year for competitive Madden in comparison to other years?
So in terms of the first tournament, I think went as well for Comp Madden as it possibly could. You had K-Mac and W make it, which I think was awesome. A lot of guys streaming. Henry ended up winning, which was a great. I think it's just great for his storyline of like building up being the best. So I think that first tournament went as well as it possibly could have. The second tournament, I would say, I mean, we haven't even seen it finish out yet. I think it's on the 18th, which is next Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see the final four, which will be cool to kind of see. It's a little bit different. In terms of overall competition, like if people are good or bad, I don't know, is that kind of where like your question was directed a little bit? Like to sit like if people are like,
yeah, kind of like like in professional sports, there's like good years where like, oh, I'd like to watch this season.
I got you.
Other seasons.
So right now, I'm trying to think compared to other years.
Because we know how good Madden was like in like the 19, the 18, like you had all the guys, you had you still had Skimbo, you still had, you had Noah coming up, of course, you had Henry coming up who was competing. Like you had a lot of guys there that you said, okay, I could realistically see this guy winning. Right now, it doesn't look like it's at all competitive where you could see different guys winning besides just Henry, besides just Dez.
Yeah. So I mean, for this tournament right here, Tuesday or next Wednesday, we actually have in the final four. I'm trying to think. We have John Beast, we have Wesley, two established guys. Wesley's never won a belt. John Beast has won one belt 2 years ago, give or take. But then we have a kid named Abram, who I want to say is like 17, who I've only ever heard of. Like I've like heard of him maybe a couple of times. So he's brand new. And then also another dude named TJ, who I genuinely have never heard of TJ before. So in terms of like new people coming up, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I think it's harder though, because we found out about Henry in
20.
Yeah, so 20 Classic. Madden 20 Classic made the championship. I'm trying to think of, he made the clubs of Eagles as well. But what I'm getting at is the older tournaments back in like Madden 18, 19, and 20, and I mean, heck, up until this year, they keep on shrinking it down. They had more people, so you could hear about more people, essentially. You know what I mean? Like you would have more people, so then the commentators could tell the backstory of more people. And, it just kind of go like that, where you would, I remember, dude, I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember seeing Noah lose in the Madden 20 Classic in person. And then, later that year, he ended up winning the entire thing. And that was like in the round of, I don't know, he ended up getting bounced like the round of 64. And then he won draft champions. So there definitely are, long story short, it's just harder to find out about these people because the broadcasts are condensed. So you just get access to less people. And I mean, there's so many good players who lose in the final 32 every tournament. They're just as good. Like they are maybe a smidge below, like Henry's in his own world. Dez is kind of in his own world. But like after that, they're like a smidge below John Beast. They're a smidge below Wesley. They're right there, but they just lose in the round 32. They lose in the round of 16. And now no one ever hears of them because there's no broadcast for that. Whereas the club championships used to have 128 people on the broadcasts, which is an insane number to say. But I mean, my first exposure on stream was in the round of 128. That's how everybody first found out about me. Yeah. And now it'd be, I would not get on stream now until the final four, which would be insane. I mean, I have two finals. Yeah. I have 2 final 16s in my MCS career, which people would say is good, but nobody would ever know if all the formats back then were like how they are now, which I think is super stupid. I hate it. I really do.
I do miss watching the club championships and watching it go down until you finally get to the 2 finalists. And of course, like you watch them play, like it does. It makes you connect more with the guys that are playing. They give them backstory, that type of thing. But right now, really, all you see is like, okay, the final 4 kind of. I think for the ultimate kickoff, what they did, like I think they did the final 4. Was it the final 4? Was it the final 8?
It was 8. They did 8 for the kickoff. Everything else was final 4 until Madden Bowl 16.
Yeah, and even that, that was good. I mean, that was pretty good. Like you got to watch W and K-Mac play live in person, which I thought was cool. Like, they should kind of slowly make their way back to that. But we talked about the final 4, the most feared live event. We kind of want to get a little bit of a virtual turf talk exclusive. Who do you have winning? Who do you have the final 2, and who do you have winning?
So for that, dude, I'm just so unfamiliar with Abram and TJ. I was told my only backstory on TJ is that he usually plays regs. So I'm like, okay, he's like a big regs guy, I guess. Again, that's what I was told. I don't actually know that myself. So I I just can't say him just because I literally don't know how good he is. I've never seen him play ever. And then Abram, this is his first ever live event. Again, I've heard of Abram before, and he's to my understanding, one of those dudes who would like make a final 32 and lose, make a final 32 and lose, make a final 32 and lose. So it's like he's been on the cusp. I have to say, do you know who plays first round? What are the matchups first round?
Okay, so it is. Oh, yeah, no, I have them written down. It's Abram versus John Beast and TJ versus Wesley.
I literally just have to say the favorites, son, just because I mean John Beast is so good at the game. He's won a belt before, and then Wesley's also ridiculously good at the game, and so consistently good at the game. Like that's the thing. Like I don't know from Abram to TJ, especially after a patch. I don't know if they were just good at the pre-patch Madden 23 or Madden 24 rather. Or if they're actually just really good at the game. Whereas Wesley and John Beast have been good at Madden 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
That's the thing, because I'm pretty sure it was either Abram or TJ. We keep up with it quite a bit. We talk about this like every episode. It was Abram or TJ. He was ranked 52 before, and during the qualification, he went up to number 2. He was like 54, and then one of them, I can't remember, they jumped like 40 spots or something. But I don't know.
Are you talking about in the like the Battlefy leaderboards?
Yeah. That's
okay. That yeah. I don't know which one it'd be.
I can't remember
which one it was.
It was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, again, I just kind of have to point. If it was pre-patch, because that's what they qualified on. They qualified before this recent patch, and they're playing on the new patch. If it was pre-patch, still, I'd say like okay, maybe TJ and Abram because obviously they're really good, but. Just for the sake of me not knowing really much about them and the fact that John Beast and Wesley are like, they're just so consistently good. Like I know John Beast is going to be a top 10 player regardless of what patch it is. Same with Wesley. Whereas Abram and TJ, I just don't know. I'd say both of them win. Wesley and John Beast both win. And then in the championship, if I had to super guess, I actually have to bet against Wesley only because he's just like he somehow loses every time.
He does.
Mind you, he makes the final fours, he makes the final eights, he'll make the championship, but he has lost every time. So and John Beast has won. So I'll give John Beast belt number 2. But I mean, if either of them won, I'm not surprised. I'd be surprised if TJ or Abram won. I'd be super impressed. I think the only
thing I'm genuinely happy about is the fact that we get to see the commentators talk about anybody besides Henry.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. Yeah,
it is. I mean, dude, his run is insane.
Okay, Henry's that guy. I think we all can agree Henry's that guy. Yeah. But like the commentary really makes you like dislike him because it's like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, can we relax? Like okay, it would be like a guy make a bad read and then they'll say, well, Henry played amazing defense. They're like, no, he just missed the read. Like,
no, dude, it's how
Henry's that guy. I give Henry the credit. Henry's that guy, but like
it could be some glazing sometimes. But I mean, I will say the comments like they be trying, like they really be doing their best, like to build up like the storyline and the legacy of Henry. And I mean, again, it's hard for me to say anything because like if you were to take it into all sports, right? Not just Madden, not just esports. Yeah. And there's got to be very few people who have been at the very top as dominantly as Henry has. So like, as much as I'm like, dude, this is kind of insane glazing. I'm like, I mean, what are we like? We're putting them up like with like the Serena Williams type stuff where like they're just like the best by far. Nobody comes close. Yeah.
Like, people were comparing him to like LeBron James and stuff. I remember in the broadcast, they were saying like, oh, the LeBron type run. Like, okay.
Yeah, no, like it's insane. It's like there's like it's so hard to even argue. Like it's I'm like, as much as I'm like, okay, like another Henry reference, whatever. I'm like, this dude's the best. Like, what do you want?
Yeah,
what do you want? Like,
yeah, he's the best. Yeah, it was crazy though. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about Henry and the competitive scene. Who is your competitive GOAT right now?
I mean, it has to be Henry. Yeah, I mean, it's so easily Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question around it. He's so like obviously the best. Even
I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the unanimous thing. Everyone we've had on has said just Henry immediately.
Yeah. I mean, because like I only asked that question because like people might think Skimbo's to go, some people might think Problems to go because of the different eras and how it was back then and how abilities have changed the game, which I understand, right? So that's why I just had to ask.
If they almost fall into, you'll see this argument in like real sports quite a bit because they both had like insane runs. Problems is less known because it was just longer ago.
Yeah,
but they now honestly they hurt themselves when they compete and they don't make it. It's no different than it's no different than like if Jordan kept competing, right, and then got bounced in the first round, second round, third round, had like this kind of like bad like ending. It's like ooh, like maybe they're not as good, and you kind of like get this. I mean, a lot of people have never even seen Skimbo win a belt. His last belt was
2017.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I'm trying to think if he won.
Because he won back-to-back in 1 year. So I think it was 2017 that he won back-to-back. And because his first one was 2016 at the end.
Okay. I want to say he has 4. But regardless, I know he made the club championship finals or Final Four in Madden 20. But then it's been, he's lost in the final 16. He's lost in the final 32. And because also they don't they don't stream these things anymore. No one really hears of Skimbo because he loses in the final 16, 32, whatever, which mind you, these are incredible runs, like getting to the final 16 of a tournament, incredibly hard, but it's not streamed. So now it's like, I haven't even heard of Skimbo especially to a more casual person. I haven't heard of Skimbo in 4 years. Which again, he's one of the best. If he could still make live events now and make Final Fours, he would be in you could make an argument for it, I guess. Yeah, just because of longevity, but because he's now not making the Final Fours anymore and still playing, it's like, if he would have just ended it on top, then maybe different.
I kind of have like one question, because I always see like people talk about like Dubby's like 40 now, right? He's like
he's old.
Right, yeah. And then you see like all these Madden players, like after 3 years of like them just winning like a whole bunch of belts, they kind of fall off. It's not like sports where you're like getting old and you can't move anymore, but like what is it? I don't
I think that answer I would say honestly it's like kind of like life. Like a lot of dudes, like Madden takes up so much time, like especially competitive Madden. It's like it takes up so much time, where these dudes will play 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And it's everything from team building to playing games to learning the games, and the knowledge gap is huge. And so you have a year where eventually you just kind of grow up and you hit 23 years old, 24 years old. And even if you're, making, let's say every tournament you're making final 16s, final 8s, that's, let's say you're pulling in 70, 80K a year, that's 60K after taxes. You're probably going to college, you're probably getting a real job, or you're just moving on into your adult life, and you just maybe you get a girlfriend, whatever. You just have less time for the game, and as a result, you have these 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds come in, and they just start popping. Abrams, I'm pretty sure Abrams like 17, and I don't know what his run was to win, but my guess is somewhere along the line he probably beat a couple people who have made some money in the MCS on the way, and now he's a new guy who's probably spends way more time on the game than them, popping these dudes. And so it's just hard. And then sometimes too, like I think the skill gap amongst like the top, I would say like the top like 15 guys to like the top 30, 40-ish guys, like everyone's really close together. Like honestly, like it's close enough to where a fumble is the difference between you making a deep tournament run and you making no money at all. And so sometimes you'll have even an entire year or 2 years where you kind of you're on kind of like the benefit of that. Maybe you get some lucky tournament draws, you avoid some players who usually beat you, and then in a couple of games where you play bad, you get a little lucky, a fumble early, and you're able to win those games. And then you're gonna have a year where you got unlucky in this tournament in the round of you got unlucky in the first round of this tournament, so you got bounced. You played Henry in this tournament, so you lost, and now you're in tournament 3 and you haven't done anything. And then let's say tournament 3, you make it to the final 32. So you didn't win any money, but you had a good run. And just like that, your MCS tournament or your MCS season's over. And now it looks like you've fallen off, when in reality, you got a little unlucky. You lost to Henry, and then you just lost in the final 32. So that's how I see it.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of to end off the show, we wanted to show you a little something that we did previously on a different episode. I want to show you this real quick. Get your thoughts on this specifically. Let me share my screen. So we did a tier ranking, right?
Okay.
And we ranked all the YouTubers, right? As far as compared on skill, not content, just skill. Do you think we have you at top of A? Do you think you're rightly ranked? Do you think there's some guys we should have moved ahead of you? Do you think some guys are better than we should have ranked you ahead of?
Okay, so this is left to right. So like S tier is Dubby, K-Max, Skimbo, Black Rain, Form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I gotta be let me see everybody else really fast.
I'm gonna zoom in like
that's fair. Yeah, can you full screen that thing for me?
I actually did full screen. That's just what's crazy about it.
Oh,
I actually did full screen it.
No, it's not. It's not full screen.
Is it?
It's not full screen.
But regardless, I would say so. For me, I gotta be A tier behind Skimbo. I think so. Skimbo should be I think Haymax should be above me, Skimbo should be above. I gotta be above Black Rain and Form, even for the sole purpose of that they don't compete.
Okay.
So I mean, they don't play professionally. Like even this year, like the first tournament I finished final 32. And it's like, so even from that, I'm putting myself above Black Rain and Form. And so the only 4 guys who I compete MCS wise are me, Dubby, K-Max, Skimbo. I think I'm at the end of that list. I can't beat Dubby. Skimbo's just Skimbo's just, even if I could try to compete with Skimbo, his pedigree is just a million X mine. So I think Skimbo's first in that. Then I go K-Mac, Dubby, me. I think. I know that. See, it's hard because like for me, like
it was so weird for us. It was so weird for us ranking Throne because Throne just does not play this year, and it's like I know how good Throne is. Like Throne is good enough to compete with a lot of guys that make runs in these tournaments, but he doesn't play anymore this year. So
that's what's hard. Throne, Taylor just doesn't play. So I think Taylor's probably fairly accurate. Yeah, probably pretty good. Chaos is really good at the game. He's probably if Kent Chaos is actually playing the game where he's like locked in a comp, which he's kind of an example of a guy who made deep runs and then kind of just life starts happening. So you play less and you're not as good as a result. If he played all the time though, he'd at a minimum be right next to me. If not, I think he'd probably be above K-Mac and I if he's super played. Maze needs to be higher.
Okay.
Maze is definitely better than Xerxes. But Maze is like he's another guy like where if he actually like competed fairly hard, which he doesn't, he just plays the game for content. But if he like locked in, he's decent. I've seen him be pretty decent in the past.
I'm not gonna lie. Does Zerk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he compete at all? Like
no, he doesn't. No. He just records random gameplays sometimes.
Yeah.
So he's definitely Xerxes definitely below Maze. Let's see here. MMG probably is fair, right? So someone who surprised me, I've played them before, and I thought they were better than they actually like I thought they'd be. KKS was like surprisingly not like he didn't know what he was doing on the game competitively, but like you get like some people are like just naturally like he wasn't throwing terrible things and he had a decent user, and I'm like, okay, like I put K's above RBT. I would say especially K's in my mind is above RBT.
So he's not above MMG though.
I don't think so.
MMG, right?
Yeah, I played MMG. I'd say they're very similar.
Yeah.
TSAP, I always see TSAP's videos on my homepage. He plays in the CFMs with you guys?
He plays with us.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yep, and he plays TD, I feel like, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not familiar. Mr. Retro.
He's we had him on our last episode. He's like
the main guy. The main guy in Breast Leagues.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Heck yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, CC's probably about the fair. Everybody else is probably fair. I think Xerxes got it. I think Xerxes drops to. I would put I think Xerxes bad at the game. I'm putting MMG above Xerxes, I think.
Wow.
And I'm not bumping MMG up. I'm dropping Xerxes back.
Wow.
I'm dropping Xerxes way back. Oh yeah, I think he's worse than Spruce. He's worse than Kinney. Ferdy plays the game. IMAV. I haven't seen IMAV in forever, but I think IMAV was like I think he plays the game online. So I'd assume. Yeah,
so
no,
like C tier, you just drop in Zerk.
I'm putting Zerk above RBT behind MMG. RBT, I don't even know if he. See, the thing with RBT is, I swear, I swear someone told me that he said this, that he's like only played like maybe 2 online games in the past like long time of Madden.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I only put RBT here. I'm a kind of an MM casual with this. I'm not a big RBT fan. He just does like offline stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know if he even plays the game online. So that's why I'm like, he'd honestly, just from like their content, would have to be next to Bengal, just because they are like
they only
similar. Yeah, they just play offline.
The only thing is that Bengal says he's ass, and he like loses to the CPU consistently.
That's fair.
Consistently
that's fair. Maybe he's next to Bengal, but on the plus.
This is like a punting tier list, like a Madden punting tier list. I'm putting Bengal S tier, but that's completely different.
That's fair.
Okay.
No. Besides that, I don't hate this. Yeah, throwing above TD Barrett. Yeah, I gotta get myself above Form and Black Rain. Although I like both of them. Form's maybe the funniest YouTuber, by the way. Him and Maze. Maze is hilarious. But I've been watching Form videos. I'm like, dude, this dude's fucking funny.
Yeah, he's performance related. I've been watching him too since he started. He was collabing with TD when TD first came out with him. Yeah, I've been watching him ever since. He's really funny too. He's one of those guys like I wish he would compete as well. Like his defense is very unique. Of course, he runs.
I'd like to see.
Nickel double A gap.
I wish everybody competed. I wish everyone did. I think it's great for Madden. It's great for viewers get invested. It's the biggest thing I find hard is that just not, and I struggle with this too, because I tried moving away from competing a while ago. It just brought me back. But I think a lot of people just don't care about comp Madden. And so it's hard to justify making all your content around pro Madden and whatnot. So it could be hard, but I'd love to see Black Rain compete. I like to see Form compete, and whatnot. I like obviously Taylor Throne. I'd like to see him compete.
I love to see him compete too.
Yeah, but a lot of people just don't. It's
it's
tough.
We've been telling TD to get back to competing. We saw him the one time.
He was going to, but he had like personal stuff come up, which was the bad part. He was making a MUT team. He had it, and then some personal stuff came up, and he missed the first tournament, and then he just kind of gave up.
And I know Form said the only reason why he didn't compete was because of a coin sponsor. So that was his reason for not competing as well. Which I understand. I understand.
Well, I'm taking the coin sponsor every time.
That's the thing. That's the same reason Throne can't compete. And that's the thing though, that's what I said earlier, like the money in Madden, like to be able to, if you want to make this into even like a part-time thing, you want to be able to play a video game that you love and make money at it. Like the real opportunities through content. That's why like it makes sense why Form doesn't. Like the coin deal probably pays way more than the majority of comp Madden players make. Same with I don't know if Black Rain has a coin deal or not. I don't know if he does. But like regardless, so it's like it can be hard to justify competing. It really can, because I'll struggle with it sometimes. And I'm like, should I still be competing? And it can be tough, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on, though. Thank you for giving us your time to interview you and stuff like that. Hopefully we continue to get some more people on, talk to some more YouTubers as well, like content creators.
Hopefully everybody doesn't air us. Maybe, this does well and we can get a few more guys on the podcast.
Hopefully, for sure. But yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, sure. All right. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Want to you guys like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot for us to get Civil on. You know what I'm saying? We kind of had to flood it. We had to kind of slide into the DMs. You know what I'm saying? To get them answers or whatever. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, man, love you guys though.